Hey, this town home spec inspections. Getting ready to do an inspection this morning. 8374 MITZE. Getting started here way early in the morning here. So this is an ASHI inspection. ASHI is the American Society of Home Inspectors. Copy of ASHI Standards of Practice is given with the home inspection contract and is the contract. So what we're looking for here, hopefully there aren't any, but we're looking for major electromechanical structural problems, okay? Big stuff that may dissuade a buyer from buying the property, okay? Issues that an electrician, a plumber, a furnace guy, or a structural engineer would find. That kind of stuff. Will probably be lots of little nickels and dimes, and we'll write those up too, but those aren't what we're really looking for. What we're really looking for is big stuff wrong with the house, okay? So what I do is I take a long, hard look at the electrical, the plumbing, and the furnace and the structure, okay? And if we have issues with those 4 different systems, then we have the electrician, the plumber, the furnace guy, the structural engineer, or the window, or the carpet guy, whoever it may be, to come out to further evaluate. The reason for that is there's different ways of fixing the same exact problem, especially in structural stuff. So I'm going to start on the roof and work my way down. Okay, these are 3-tabbed antiquated old shingles here. They don't make these too much anymore. So anyway, they're discolored here. Discolorations from this tree probably dripping in it all the time, so I'm not real worried about that. You do have a couple torn corners there, and we'll see how the rest of it goes here. So the shingles up here getting kind of worn out. Here you see the granular loss here, kind of reaching the end of their useful lives here. Yeah, it's getting really bad on this side. And this is a side that really doesn't take the heat from the sun. But you can see it's a granular loss. So, you know, even if you do get insurance on this, they're going to really prorate the amount if you get hail damage on it, and give you like $13 for towards a new roof. So anyway, you might want to check to see if you can get your insurance company out here to look at a roof, and or a roofer. They come out for free and look at it. I personally wouldn't certify this, but you have to get your roofer out, okay? Somebody that works for you. And then you can see this is all caulked up through here. Okay, this isn't all caulked up just because they have some extra caulk. This thing, well, used to leak. Probably may still be leaking. Now, caulking, of course, is always temporary. And then you got a little bit over here too. So we'll see if we can see in the inside here. I think this is metal siding, so that stuff's great. It'll pretty much last forever, and you can actually paint it if you want. You don't want to ever do this, take the downspout, drain it on the roof here, and then wear out the shingles and overflow the lower gutters. You need to really take that to grade. The reason they put it up here is because when you bring it down there, what do you do with it? But that's what you got to do, or bring it to the other side and drain it down. And you can see the granular loss from your shingles in here, big time. Sorry, newer I guess. They're aluminum, so should last forever. Main story on the roof: wear and tear, granular loss. And the farther we go up towards the peak, where you have virtually no ventilation, it gets hotter, some more torn shingles. And this is the side that gets cooked by the sun here. Yeah, it's getting pretty well worn. So basically the bottom line on this, the roof is or has reached the end of its useful life. And I don't think any real roofer would certify the roof for 3, 4, 5 years. That means that if it leaks, they come out and fix the leak. It's still a roof that needs to be replaced, and you're going to get a major prorated insurance adjustment when you do get hail damage on here. You got a nail pop right there, right through the shingle. So this vent stack here is flashing them, kind of a homemade goofy thing. I don't know where they got this from. Looks like a cake decoration. Yeah. Anyway, this big old hole. So it's gonna leak like a banshee coming through there when it does rain. And this is a rusted out flute pipe here. See how it's cut, split, rusted out, no storm collar. So what happens is when it rains right in through here, goes into your furnace. This should have been replaced. Yeah, it's big time rusted out. Hopefully you can see that. Big time. So we got the swamp cooler running. When I walked in here, it's not working. No water in here. They got the float valves that aren't working, all tied up here. I didn't think this thing was working. I don't know what doesn't work. Doesn't have any water going to it. So anyway, this fan belt, look at it, needs to be adjusted. The good news is there's nothing to these. You can probably fix this thing up and get it running for less than 150 bucks. You might need a new pump in it if you even have one, and get her going. This looks like an old satellite dish. It's going to leak with the holes in the roof there from the nails or from the bolts. Okay, so your handrail, the deck, short version is you need to tear this thing down and start over again. Certainly wasn't done by a permit. I got lateral movement. I don't know if you can see that moving back and forth here. But yeah, I mean, it's dangerous deck, improperly installed. Handrails are falling off, and you can't have ladders for handrails. The balusters need to go vertical, not horizontal. It's basically a big accident waiting to happen here. And that front step into the back door here is pretty scary too. So this is your swamp cooler control. Evaporative cooler. It was on high cool when I walked in, meaning that the pump was probably ruined, because you can't run those things very often without water going to them. Okay, the garage door is disconnected, not working here. Disconnected for a reason. It doesn't open and close, popping sounds and all that. Doesn't close right. Doesn't go all the way down, so you need to have a a garage door guy fix this. And you see the big large gaps underneath there? That's how the mice are going to get right into your house here. So this thing's not working, and it was disconnected for that reason up here. And if we start operating this more than I did, it's gonna, and they got it all kind of tied off here. It will break it and cause issues. So, and you don't have any handrails going down the basement, then the light doesn't work here. That's a fire code violation, having that hole like that. Doesn't seem to be grounded either. There's only 2 wires going to it. Well, they had the water going off to the swamp cooler, so hopefully we'll get some water going to it and the pump will work. We'll figure it out here. I guess we'll go back up there. So your electrical panel looks like it's original, antiquated stuff. Looks like you buy 125 amps coming in, which should be good. You do have neutrals and grounds all twisted together. That should be separated back there. Put them in these screws. The good news is I don't see any aluminum wiring. Between 64 and 74 they were doing aluminum wiring, but I don't see any, so that B's good. So I think we're going to be okay with that. Wiring here. This is your main electrical company. You can actually reach that wire out of these windows here. That's a no-no. This mast should go all the way up, about 3 feet above the roof line there. Can actually touch those. Okay, it looks like the covers on those are a little bit, I think they melted a little bit there to me. It doesn't look good. The sprinkler is turned off. Okay, I don't check sprinklers anyway. It's like they put in some new stuff here, but they either had a dog out here or, yeah, patches of, yeah, probably a dog. Anyway, we're not doing a lawn inspection here, so. And this ledger port is dangerously installed. You got 1 lag bolt, 2 lag bolts, 3, couple here and there. It's improperly installed. It's not flashed. Need to flash the top of this. Done without a permit for sure. Need to flash the top of your ledger board here for your deck so the water doesn't follow these lag bolts in and the whole deck fails. You got major lateral movement anyway, and no joist hangers, hurricane clips for this. Caissons are too small, probably don't go deep enough. This whole thing needs to be torn down and redone. Then you're going to have to pull a permit on it too. I'm sure this porch back deck doesn't have a permit on it. See, they got a dragging the hose here. That's pretty much prime facie evidence that it's not, sprinkler system doesn't work. And we don't really need to beat up the deck. You need a new deck. See how it's rising here and falling here. These caissons are probably settling. Need a new deck. Dangerous. Okay, certainly no permit on it. Yeah, still no water to it. Because they got it rigged so you can't get water to go to it. It's pretty bad crack here. It's differentiated too, meaning that it's pulling out a little bit and it gets wider as you're going up, and it's all the way into the actual footer structure of the brick. So that's a structural crack, and that should be evaluated beyond what I do. I'd probably just get a contractor out here. Engineers are going to charge you $500 and tell you, yeah, it's cracked. And then you can put a helical pier down here. I can tell you that for free. So anyway, get a contractor out here to see what he has to say about it. Be your best bet. They do it on a bid system. Okay. But you know, they've patched it and it's still cracking. You see it's still moving. You need to put an extension on here. All they're going to do here is take this water and dump it all around here. And you got to make sure the water goes away from the house here. That's usually what causes the structural issues here. This looks relatively a new pour here, so I'm sure this crack here is caused from the negative grade constantly beating on the footer down here and cause movement / cracking. And these windows by this walkway should all be tempered glass now. Safety glass. I'm sure they're not. I don't see a decal on them. Usually have a little. Oh, yeah, they are. I think they are tempered glass. I don't know. I'll have to look when I get inside there. Yes, it is tempered glass, so forget that. So these should be okay. Never mind. These faucets here need to be outside frost-free spigots, not these. These things are freeze in the winter. I don't know what all this goofy stuff is. They need to be converted to frost-free spigots, or you need to turn them off every winter. In the opposite wall, you got some cracking going on here. Generally, I would blow these little hairline cracks off, except this crack matches the exact side on the opposite, the same distance away from the front, which may mean a more diabolical thing as far as the house doing that on both sides of these cracks. So I don't know what to tell you to do with that. We put drywall on the other side of this crack so we can't tell what's going on here. I don't know, you see this little track going up here? Yeah, that's a termite. You get a termite inspection or a pest inspection. That's what it sure looks like to me. Believe it or not, that's what those are, a little dirt. Here are some other kind of insect. I'm not a termite inspector, but that's what that is. It's a little tunnel for termite, as far as they got. But the side of the deck, this is the missing threshold going to the doors. Here they got all screwed up with foam caulk to keep it from leaking in there. Yeah, and see how it's cracking here too. See all that shenanigans there right underneath that goofy door right there? That not good. Another little crack here. They made it look worse than what it is. And again, I probably wouldn't have said anything about this except for the accumulation of all these cracks, and you can see it's starting to move right after they patched it. And in fact, these are probably new cracks up here, because wouldn't you have patched that too? Or maybe it's as high as you can reach patching. That could be it too. If you dig this out, see that's a crack in the actual concrete footer that's starting there, I believe. That's right below this area right through here. Yeah, see that leak in there? It means your swamp cooler is leaking all over everywhere on the roof there. So we're going to have to turn it off. That's why they had it turned off. Yeah, it's still not the end of the world. That's just your overflow pipe. So really the only thing now I'm guessing needs to be fixed on here is that little float valve. That's kind of like your toilet valve float thing. So it needs to be fixed. And you definitely need this thing running in this 100-degree heat here in Denver. And another big thing that why I make the big bucks. That's a hot flue pipe there that carbon monoxide comes out of from your hot water heater in your furnace. And that's methane sewer gases coming out of there. Guess right. What? Right next to a swamp cooler that sucks air in big time? That's major dangerous, or dangerous major. So they're going to have to do something with that too. This thing's going to need to go way up there, boys and girls, or somebody could die. And you have no roof vents up there. I'm sure I mentioned it when I was on the roof. So that's one of the reasons your roof's failing. When you do put on your new shingles, they're going to have to put roof vents up there too. That makes your shingles last a lot longer. And then keep your house a lot cooler too. Get the mold and mildew out of there. So more roof vents and probably soffit vents too. Maybe even bigger gable vents. GFI in the kitchen here doesn't work. The little thing with the button. You don't have a tip over device for your stove. Supposed to have a little tip over device just like that right there. So somebody can tip this over, especially a kid. Doesn't look like your right front burner's working on your stove. Seems like the left burner's working too. It was on and it went off, so who knows what's going on. I don't think this one ever went on. Some amateur electrical underneath the sink. First of all, you don't have a grommet for the wire going to the garbage disposal. And there's no receptacle. They just slam the wire through the wall there. Then you're supposed to have a standpipe for this pipe here. It's supposed to go into a standpipe from the dishwasher, not into the garbage disposal. Like the locks are broken on the windows here in the back. Looks like these all may be tempered windows, I'm guessing. It's usually what that means, that little decal on there. Don't really know though. I'm guessing. Usually they don't put those decals on. And a lot of times they say tempered, but who knows. See this crack in the ceiling? Matches up with the crack out there, and then you have some patched up crack in here. And then you can see the heave in the floor that matches the cracks on the outside. See the big old heave right here? Big time. You don't even need a level for that. So it's going like this, pushed up. Over here too. There's another crack right here. In the same kind of general area. Follow this cracking suspicion here right into here. And you can see the movement on the tape here. Drywall tape. It's been just pulled down. Got my little magic laser level here. You see that little red beam here? See where it is on the molding? About what, an inch up? Ooh, this thing would focus. And then if you go all the way over here, it goes up pretty significant. Yeah, it's actually up at the top here. You can see the red right there, sort of. So yeah, it's moving a tad. It's doing this, the house is. Now, is it still doing it? Who knows? And there's nobody going to be able to tell you that. There's no magic ball, no crystal balls. And the ones that do are going to make you sign limited liability contracts, meaning that if they're wrong, oh well, too bad. They can't predict the future. So here's the measurement in the middle of the, this thing would focus. In the center of the house, see how narrow it is, about an inch, and then we follow the beam all the way to the other side over there. And it's at the top. So, like I say, it's doing this. Guarantee it wasn't built like that. So, and before they had laser levels, that's what they used to do, the old home inspectors. Gravity closed doors. And then they'd put marbles on the floor and all kinds of antiquated stuff. This is one of the reasons you don't put a window in a shower. Get your own outside water treatment here. Put some colored lights on this and you'd be good. You can see how it's leaking from behind the siding there. It's probably leaking down in between the walls into the basement. So you need to, why are we doing this? You need to put glass block in there instead of that window. And I didn't get that light to go on, or that one. I don't know if there's bulbs in it. Yeah, there's a bulb in it, but kind of a slow drain on the tub too there. This one's working good. Okay, so we got the heaving here. We kind of know that, so you got to paint it over crack there, right above the heave. A crack over there, right above the heave, and then it goes in here, and holy cow, another unusual crack that's been painted over. Not. That's why I make the big dollars. Anywho, so it is what it is. Personality Homes. What a deal. Up in the attic, remember that big old sewer pipe vent stack? I said it was probably leaking like a banshee. There it bees. That's your rusted out B-vent flue pipe. You see it leaking too? That needs to be replaced, that section. Swamp cooler's leaking so bad, about rotting out the roof there. And that black stuff. That's not good. You basically virtually got no insulation up here. Just some kind of blowing in something. I don't know if it's cellulose maybe. Anyway, you ain't got even any at all hardly. You can see the rafters. You can make another 10 inches in here. You're going to be heating Denver, or Thornton actually. They got these smoke bombs up here, these pest control things. What are they trying to kill here? Decon, foregone, automatic room, fogger. So I guess they had something going on up here. There's another one. Who knows? Might want to do a pest inspection with that little suspected termite little tunnel they call those. You can do little dirt tunnels all the way up. You see right underneath your swamp cooler where it's been dripping and leaking. That could be a flashing issue. Well, it is. The flashing needs to be redone. This is an open hole here. This is called an open plumbing shaft. It's pretty scary. I did find one vent. That's actually partially covered up too. Need more ventilation for the attic, more insulation. Fix all the roof penetration leaks. Swamp cooler's leaking big time. All the vent stacks are leaking. All the penetrations through the roof are leaking. And they've actually had passed some kind of pests up here. I don't know why they had this elaborate shut-off system here, because they don't shut off. This faucet is broken here. It doesn't shut it off. This is all going to freeze in the winter. I wonder why they had these little caps on here. Toilet doesn't fill up here. They had that nice beautiful plant over top of this thing here. So anyway, I don't think I got it turned on. Yeah, no, it's not working. No water flow. A mystery. And underneath your steps, see the major water here? Kind of hard to guess what this is all from. That major mold there, man. There ain't no doubt in my mind. That's years and years of water there. That's MOLD, baby. So that's your main water shut off. Water coming in here. Probably when it rains. So this is a continual deal here to get that much mold. This isn't from like just a water heater overflowing. And these pipes are probably going to freeze down here too. There's no heat down here. You have to keep the door open. And guess what? Same crack in the basement right above where the other one is. It's coming up there too, see it? On the other side of the door. Okay, so hot water heater furnace here. These are improperly installed. You need to have outside combustion air for these. In other words, you got two appliances in a little closet here that are eating up oxygen. Okay, so you need outside air for them. You can check with Thornton or Adams County and see if they got permits on this stuff. Probably not. Okay, and the other big deal is too, you can't have a hot flue pipe here from the furnace touching drywall. Tells me the basement probably finished without a permit too. Yeah, look back in, they got that hot flue pipe jammed right up on all kinds of stuff that's ready to start a fire. That's the leak in there coming in. See the seams, a leak from the dripping down here going into your newer furnace here. So they made the furnace in 2015. It's a relatively new furnace. You might need a water hammer deal in here. A expansion tank may need to been put in here too for code, and then combustion air. So the code cops look for proper flue screws on these things. Only got one here. You're missing flue screws for this, and you're missing flue screws for here. Somebody hits this, that gets the disconnect. You got carbon dioxide leaking in your house. This may need to be a whole 4-inch flue going all the way up to, depending on the code cops and the manufacturer's data and all that. Got one flue screw there, so another. Let's get flue screws here for this or not. And you're supposed to put a pipe on this pressure relief valve there, and he's probably supposed to have a drip leg here that comes down, kind of a plumbing deal. So I don't think he pulled permit 1 on either one of these, either the hot water heater or the furnace. So you put the hot water heater and the furnace in at the same time as that 2015 July. So anyway, so new stuff, that's good. Just not done right. You need combustion air for these or it can cause issues. Well, got the furnace up and running here. Then to properly legally, but anyway, properly finish the basement, you have to have cold air returns for the furnace. I know see nuns. For property to operate right, you have to supply airs, but you need also cold air return, probably a couple of 2 or 3 down here. So that's the name of that tune. So you see how that flame's getting sucked in there? That's how it's supposed to work. So you get a pretty good draft there right now. See how it's pulling that flame in? So that's where it's up, sucking in, and it kind of. What you don't want it to do is kind of push it out now and then. See that kind of coming out. So that I could all see it's coming out, pushing away, pushing away, pushing away. Be getting sucked in like that. So that could all be improper draw. You don't have a proper foot rise before you do an elbow, and this thing may need to be a foot, a 4-inch draft hood, or yes, and flue pipe, and you certainly need outside combustion air in here. So that's pretty much the conclusion of the inspection. 8374 MITZE way, that be's it.